You know, we've all seen those promises about making a ton of money online. But what's the real story? Forget the hype. Today, we're going to dive into a case study about a college student who went from being broke to building a real business, totally from scratch. So get this. This is a quote from Aman, a 23-year-old who actually did it. Hearing someone say they can confidently make $10,000 a month from pretty much nothing, I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, right? It really makes you wonder, if it's really possible, why does so many of us, like 99% of us, never even take that first step? There's some kind of wall there that holds us back. And that's exactly what we're gonna dig into. All right, let's rewind the clock 4 years. Our story starts with Aman. He's 19, in college. He's not some kind of prodigy, not a trust fund kid, just a normal guy. Until one night, he stumbles across a video that basically changes the entire course of his life. So picture this. He's just chilling with his family, watching a video about a doctor who's making passive income online. Now for Aman, the phrase financial freedom, that wasn't even in his vocabulary. But in that moment, seeing a regular person do it, it just clicked. Suddenly, the whole idea wasn't just a fantasy anymore. It felt real. It felt possible. And this, right here, this is the psychological switch. It's something called locus of control. Most of us, we see someone else's success and our brain says, oh, that's cool for them, but it won't work for me. That's an external locus of control. But Aman had the opposite, an internal one. His thought process was simple. Hey, if they can do it, so can I. That tiny shift in mindset, it was everything. And that self-belief was exactly what he needed to overcome the single biggest hurdle that stops almost all of us. This idea that we need a perfect plan, that paralysis of needing everything to be just right before we start. So instead of getting trapped in endless research, Aman just did it. He didn't waste months figuring out the best gear. He just borrowed a mic from a friend. He sketched out a basic outline for a programming course, filmed it all in one afternoon, did a quick edit, and boom, launched it. The whole thing took 3 days. It was messy, it was fast, and most importantly, it was done. Okay, so here's a question for you. A course he admittedly called shitty, launched in 3 days with borrowed gear. 4 years later, how much passive income do you think it made? Just take a second and think of a number. Because the answer tells you a lot about our expectations for success. $1,500. That's it, after 4 years. Now let that sink in. A lot of us might hear that and think, wow, what a waste of time. But that's the whole point. We're conditioned to expect a home run on the first swing. For Aman, this wasn't about the money. This was proof. It was just about getting in the game. And that's the real lesson, right? Your first attempt doesn't have to be your magnum opus. It's just step one. It's about getting on the bike and learning to ride, even if you're wobbly and fall a couple of times. It's a lesson, not a failure. So taking that first imperfect step is one thing. But what comes next is the part nobody likes to show on social media. The long, slow, often frustrating grind of actually building something that lasts. And man, this journey was a slow burn. After that first course, he started a blog and a YouTube channel. And think about this. After a full year of putting out content every single week, he had just 100 subscribers. It took him almost a year and a half before a single video finally took off. This was not an overnight success story. This was a 4-year marathon. So how on earth did he keep going with basically zero feedback? He built a system with real consequences. He promised to post every week no matter what. He even used an app called BeMinder that would literally charge his credit card $100 if he missed a deadline. He ended up paying over $1,000 in fines to himself. That is some serious, painful commitment we don't usually hear about. So for years, Aman was just grinding it out, pushing the boulder uphill. But then, in year 4, he had this massive breakthrough. He finally figured out how to stop grinding and start actually accelerating. And the breakthrough really came from 2 big aha moments. First, he realized he could strategically learn how to do business from books instead of just winging it. And second, and this is huge, he realized he could pay for coaching to basically buy time, learning from someone else's mistakes instead of having to make them all himself. And he didn't just passively buy coaching, he was committed to being the absolute best student in the room. When he joined this coaching program, he showed up to every single call. He even took one from an airplane using a VPN. He took complete ownership of getting a return on his investment. And the results? They were absolutely nuts. Before this, he was plateauing around $5,000 a month, which is great. But almost immediately after he started applying what he learned in coaching, his revenue exploded to $30,000 a month. That's a 6x jump. It completely changed the entire game for him. This kind of financial success is incredible, of course, but the story doesn't end with the bank account. The real reward, the whole reason he started this crazy journey, was always about something much bigger than just the money. So today, Aman averages around $20,000 a month in pure profit. That is nearly double what he was making at his old full-time job as a software engineer. That is truly life-changing money. But what does that money actually give him? It bought him the things that are way more valuable than cash. It's the confidence of knowing he'll never have to go back to a 9-to-5 if he doesn't want to. It's the freedom to work from anywhere in the world, on his own schedule. The flexibility to take a day off without asking for permission. And maybe best of all, he genuinely loves the process of building his own thing. Aman's story is incredible proof that this is possible. But it all boils down to that one simple thing: taking action. So if there's one thing to take away from his entire 4-year journey, it's this. The timing will never, ever be perfect. There will always be an excuse. So the real question isn't for him, it's for you. What is one small, imperfect action you can take today?